And it is me, Lonnie, or it is I should say. How are you, everybody? We're here with Claudia and Danny McMahon, owner, brewmaster.
Yeah,
right?
That's correct.
Man, is that the exact title, brewmaster?
Head brewer.
Head brewer.
Yeah, not really master of anything, but head brewer.
Head brewer. Okay. Claudia, do you have any little bio on our guest today?
I do. So today we're at the Door County Brewing Company, which is located in Bailey's Harbor on County F. And Door County Brewing Company's mission is to create beers that lead to a gathering of community and friends wherever you are. And it's owned by three people, John McMahon, Danny McMahon, and Ben McMahon. And we've got Danny McMahon as our guest today. And
I take it you guys are related.
Yep, we're all related, believe it or not.
Okay.
He was raised.
It's just not like three McMahons that just met each other.
No, they just happened to be hanging out in Door County, and they liked beer. So.
Got it. Okay.
Danny was raised in Door County, and he finds inspiration from friends, family, and the landscape to create the flavors of their beer. A real artisan and student of the craft, he spends most of his waking hours experimenting with unique flavor profiles that he feels will stir your palate and inspire you to reach beyond your comfort zone. He is a Belgian and sours man through and through, so be ready. And I suppose by the end of today's show, we'll understand what a Belgian and sours man means. You'll help us with that.
I think I just had a sour. We're tasting 8 or 9 beers here. So we're talking about beer. You also do a lot of music here.
Yeah, we do. In the summertime, we do music, live music every Friday and Saturday night, sometimes Sundays, and then in the off season, it's typically every Saturday night, if not both Friday and Saturday. And every show we've ever done is free.
It's free, and they're awesome. Every show you've ever done is awesome.
Yes.
So, are any of the McMahons musicians?
Ben is, to an extent, he's a really good banjo and mandolin player, but he kind of keeps that to himself. So,
we're going to be talking about beer, and you guys have really brought beer to a all new level because you're like beer scientists.
Sure.
Yeah. And we're going to be also tasting some beers here. So let's just jump into some of the tastings, and you can tell us what we're doing and what it's all about.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I've already moved one.
All right.
Now it's back in. So what's this beer here?
That's going to be Little Sister. Yeah, so actually that's a good one to start with.
All right.
So that's Little Sister. That was the second beer we ever released. That's a Belgian-style wheat beer. So, you know, a lot of people are familiar with German Hefeweizens or American wheat beers. What makes a Belgian wheat beer a little bit different is it's also got a really big yeast presence. So you get some nice spice. Some people get a little bit of clove in there. Mm-hmm. And then with traditional Belgian wheat beers, most of them are spiced with orange peel and coriander, which we definitely do. But we also use 2 really unique spices that don't get used in brewing that often. We won't tell you what they are, but they're definitely prominent. And they're also they're spices that people are familiar with the taste, but they're pretty hard to
distinguish,
to pin down. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that actually you answered my question. Are your recipes for your brews, are they secret? Is it like, you know, the secret sauce at Burger King kind of thing?
Tell me what it is.
not so much secret. We do, you know, with a lot of our Belgian-inspired beers, our recipes are really, really simple. But most of our Belgian beers are really yeast forward, and the yeast for these styles is what really sets these beers apart. So, you know, it's not, if anybody's familiar with homebrewing, it's not too tough to make a grain bill that's near identical to what we do, but we use a yeast and we ferment it at a specific temperature, raising and lowering temperatures throughout fermentation, and that's what really sets our beers apart. It's the yeast more than anything.
So take us through the
process.
Yeah, I mean, we're all very good at drinking the
beer.
We haven't really been very well schooled in the making of the beer. Yeah. So take us from the beginning and let me know how it got here.
Okay, so as far as beer making goes, there's typically 4 main ingredients. You use water, hops, malt, and yeast. So we typically start with water. You get water heated up to about, 168 degrees, give or take.
Good Lake Michigan water?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So you get that all heated up, then you put that in what we call the mash tun, which is just a big
Let me interrupt you for a minute. The water. All right, so like if we were brewing out in San Francisco, is the water quality and water, the characteristics of the water affect the taste of the beer?
Water plays a huge deal, a huge part in our beers. So we start with water from our well, which has it's really hard water, but it does really well with certain styles if we don't touch it, if we just use it as is. But for certain styles, especially hoppy beers, we do add a handful of different minerals and salts to our water to kind of change the hardness and the profile. So, you can make the same recipe here, you can make as you would in San Diego, and they would be you could definitely distinguish the difference.
And you've done your homework?
Working on it.
Yep.
Water's probably the one thing most brewers I've ever talked to wish they knew more about, but it's something we've really been focusing on the last couple of months.
Got it.
Really
Okay, so water's important. Okay, keep going.
So we start with the water. We put that in our big stainless steel vessel, which we call our mash tun, and while we're filling that up with water, we're also filling that up with malted barley, wheat, oats, rye, whatever grains we're going to use throughout the process. And the grains, the barley, that's where we get our sugars from. That's where we get a lot of the color from the beer, from the different types of specialty grains. And that's where we get a little bit of flavor for our beer. So we fill up our mash tun with the water and the barley at the same time. Once that's all filled, we let that kind of steep. We call that mashing for anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour and a half, and that lets the starches from the grain convert to sugars, which we're going to need down the line for the yeast to eat and ferment and turn into alcohol and give us some more flavors. So after we've mashed in, we transfer all that liquid to the brew kettle. That takes about an hour, and then once we've got the brew kettle filled up, we boil that for anywhere between an hour to 2 hours, depending.
How many gallons per batch?
Yeah, so we brew on a 2-vessel, 7-barrel system. So we typically we fill our we fill our brew kettle up to about 230 gallons. We're by the end of boil, after we've lost some evaporation, it's typically 220 gallons, and we typically get anywhere between 12 to 15 half barrels per batch. So a single barrel is 31 gallons. So we get, whatever 31 times 7 is. I'm not very good at math.
And if you had drank less, you may have known what that math would have been. So there's no preservatives.
No, not really. It's pretty much occasionally we'll add spices, but it's most of our recipes are malt, hops, water, yeast. That's it. We don't add a ton of stuff.
When somebody buys some Bud or Pabst Blue Ribbon at their local packaged liquor store, what's the difference between that beer and Door County Brewing?
Well,
as far as like preservatives, taste, quality, love, affection, music.
They're using a lot of rice and they're using a lot of corn, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but they're cheap.
Yes.
And they're going for light, extremely light. But what's really unique about those breweries, aside from the fact that they can make the same beer taste exactly the same a million times in a row,
right?
What they do is they actually brew a really strong beer, and then they end up cutting it with water to get that 4%. So Bud Light, Budweiser, Miller Lite, all that stuff. They start with a really strong beer, and then they end up cutting it with water down the line to get low calorie, low carb.
Now, at one time, and this comes from people that we know that worked in Milwaukee in the breweries. I don't know. I think it was back in the 70s. You could drink on the job.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you would get a free case of beer every week.
Mm-hmm.
With your paycheck.
It's part of your paycheck.
That's one of the perks of working in a brewery for sure.
Yeah, so it's nice that they practice what they preach.
Totally.
All right, so now once it's in the batch tank, what happens next?
So once we've boiled, we add all our hops. If we use spices, we typically add it in the boil, and we cool that down, transfer it to a fermentation tank, and that's where we add the yeast. And this is
that where the magic happens?
That's where the magic happens. The fermentation side is actually probably my favorite part of the whole process. That's what really sets different breweries apart, is the whole fermentation side of things. So we pitch our yeast into the fermentation tanks, and then typically within 12 hours the beer starts fermenting. And on average, our beer probably sits in the fermentation tanks 3 weeks, but we do have a few beers that we can crank out in 12 days, and we have a few beers that sit in there anywhere from a month to 2 years.
Now,
depending
is
what
all
we're doing.
yeast created equally?
No.
Or is that another magic?
Ingredient.
It's yeast is what makes the beer what it is. There's probably thousands of different yeast strains that you could use. Before people knew what anything was, the ancient Egyptians, when they were making beer, they called yeast, God is great. They had no idea what was happening. They would brew a beer, let it sit out, and then magically it would ferment before they realized that was what the yeast
I mean,
was
that's
doing.
not how it's real.
No, we actually know what we're
really?
doing now. We actually
Sorry.
we're
I
kind
got
of
all
aware of
excited.
it.
Claudia's been drinking a little too much. There goes the recording station.
So I have a question about the yeast. So is that a trial and error kind of thing in terms of deciding which yeast product, and do you use, now that you found your magic yeast, do you use the same yeast
Right.
for all of your brews?
Well, so there's enough yeast labs out there right now that they'll have a bank of a couple hundred yeast strains that are all kind of divided up into what flavors you'd expect to get, what beer styles these strains typically go in. So we start with a yeast strain. We usually work it a few times. It takes a few batches to get the temperature exactly right. But yeah, it takes us a few tries to figure out, to get exactly what we're looking for. But in our brewery, we typically have 2 yeast strains that we use all the time, that are pretty much ongoing. But we are definitely a little unique in the sense that we're not afraid to bring in something completely unique. We do typically go through.
And
more
what days do you
yeast
need
strains.
volunteers to help?
I was going to ask that. I mean, that's kind of a joke, however, we are available.
No, I'm serious.
But
Literally every day. I don't know if
So
you.
do you have, like,
I'm
taste
available
testing?
during the week and weekends.
There we go. That's
So
perfect.
do you have like people, like friends and different people that you call in and say, test this out, taste this for me, tell me what you think?
Yeah, we've got a really nice staff of bartenders up in the tap room that have been around beer long enough to know this IPA, or know what an IPA is supposed to taste like, know what a saison is supposed to taste like. So we've got a really good educated staff, and then having the tap room lets us put on beers, even if it's a small batch, to see how it's going to go, something new is going to go.
Sure.
We get enough feedback from the guests here to kind of get a good idea if this beer is going to go over well or not.
That's good.
I think I just figured out where that little mason jar came from.
Oh, was it here?
Yeah, are you supposed to be able to take home the mason jars?
I mean, if you pay for it, sure.
Okay, because we have a small mason jar at
It looks
home.
just like that.
And
We
I
couldn't
just,
figure out where it came from.
Kathy O'Reilly just came in with her husband Jim. Hi Jim, how are you? And they're great students of drinking,
Of brew.
There we
of
go.
multiple of things. So, you guys have been drinking a long time.
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
all right. So, how long you been brewing beer? Like, were you home brewers before you got into the commercial side?
Yep. No, I started homebrewing in college when I was in the Twin Cities. Did that for a long time.
Were you majoring in beer?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I have a degree in political science.
Well, I
That
can see
helps.
the connection. Yeah, especially once you start studying politics, you need to drink.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So who was it? Was your dad, your brother? I mean, who said, hey, we could actually make money at this hobby of ours?
We had some friends up here that were interested in starting something, and we got far enough just to get it approved. And then we had some other people that were going to be a part of this, but just it ended up not working out. So we realized we'd gotten this far. So my dad and myself were like, well, we've gotten far enough. Why would we
Sure.
stop now? So it ended up just becoming a family thing.
Is this your first bar?
Yeah.
In a brewery?
Yeah.
Well, so you guys really hit it out of the park.
Thank you.
We were here for your New Year's Eve party.
Yeah, that was a good time.
And it was a
Fabulous.
rockin'
It
time.
was one of our favorite New Year's
Yeah.
Eves we've ever been.
Awesome.
Yeah.
This building looks like it's been here for 1,000 years.
Yep.
So I mean, you guys really nailed it,
Thank you.
not only on the product, but the personality,
and the
the
ambiance.
ambience of the business, and
Right.
I mean, did you guys just really go into this not knowing?
We had an idea of what we wanted the place to look like. We had an idea for the overall vibe of the entire brewery. Talking looks, packaging, all the artwork, all the beer flavors, the design of the building. We had an idea, but we had some friends who were friends with Porkovitz out of Sturgeon Bay, who had built them this glorious barn on Beach Road in Sister Bay, and we're like, yes, we want these guys to work. So we met with Rick Porkovitz and his brother John, and we're like, this is the thought we have for this space. what can you do? And they kind of just went to town, and they did what they did, and if they had a question and how we want something to look, we'd give them feedback. But these guys, they.
So did you guys write a business plan for a bank, or?
Yeah,
you did.
We had a really nice business plan. We were originally going to be a brew pub, and then we were originally going to share the space with some other businesses. But we had a big business plan. Went to the banks. We have some private investors.
Which I wish I were one of them.
Yeah,
Is it too late?
No, it's never too late.
Oh, well, here, let me just give you some money. All right, so we're going to try another beer. What are we trying over here? This was the number
question.
2. Darker.
It was right
it's
here.
number 2 beer.
Right there. That is. Oh, that's a good one. That's Latone.
Wait.
They're all good.
They're all good
They're all
ones.
good. No, that's what I'm
That's
really
like
excited
saying,
about.
oh, Jimmy, he's my favorite son.
No. So that's Latone. We've actually got a really nice
Latone?
Latone. So
Sure, it's not Latone.
correct.
It's Latone. Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
actually
they named it after
Yeah,
you.
that's damn nice of you.
100% positive it's not. We actually.
Want to try some?
I do.
We just, we're really big into the Belgian farmhouse style ale. So what we decided, this is the first beer out of a new series for us. We're doing a new farmhouse inspired beer for every season. So this is our first release. So we're doing one for fall, winter, spring, and summer. This is Latone, which is the French word for autumn. So we took kind of the base beer as a French bière de garde, which is basically just a malty saison. We added a bunch of rye, a little bit of caramel malts, and then we used the same yeast strain we use for most of our Belgian beers, which is really expressive, dries the beer out, so you've got a nice malt presence, but you get a really nice dry, a little bit of spicy finish.
It is. It's really good.
Thank you.
It tastes like a little citrus in there.
That would be our yeast strain. Yeah, our yeast is very citrus forward. But to us, this beer kind of invokes fall without being
So it's
a
an
spiced pumpkin
Oktoberfest
beer.
kind of a thing.
It's very. If someone told you it was a Belgian Oktoberfest, which isn't really a thing, this is probably what you would expect it to be.
One of the things that I find actually less intimidating about beer than I do wine is because when we do wine tastings, my standard joke is if the pourer is going to read you the notes, and it's going to tell you about the asparagus
And the plum.
and the plum,
right.
and but the only thing I can really discern in wine is pepper.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
But I don't have a really good palate for those
Discernment.
subtleties, but with beer, it seems like it seems to be smoother. Maybe it's the fact that there's a certain amount of carbonation to it that you don't get unless you're drinking sparkling wines. So, do you find that there's less pretentiousness about beer than there is wine?
Yeah.
Or are you guys snobs too?
To an extent, there's always exceptions to the rule. But what I've kind of found throughout, this whole process is, with a lot of wine people, when you go out to a restaurant, a lot of people are a little nervous or a little hesitant to try a glass of wine that's something
Especially
that,
at the price point.
Exactly, but I rarely ever come across someone who's, maybe they don't like the taste of a beer, but you find a lot less people are hesitant to order a beer they've never had than they are a wine they've never had, whether it be price point or just maybe it just seems more approachable than wine.
And you guys have really robbed a lot of market share out of the wine
industry.
I mean, you guys are really getting a lot of traction.
Deservedly so, actually.
There's no question about it.
I have a question about pairing. Are you helpful with people in terms of pairing beers? Because I know that's a new hot thing.
It is. Pairing beer and food is a big thing. I wish I was better at it than I am. What I do know is IPAs taste well with pizza, and if a beer tastes...
I think every beer tastes good with pizza. Yeah.
If a beer tastes good and the food tastes good, chances are they're going to go well together.
Right.
But no, there are definitely people out there who are experts in pairing beer and food. Unfortunately, I'm not one of them.
Have you ever blended something that was so off the wall, they said, flush it down the sewer, bacon and beer doesn't go together?
I have. We typically, we've made bad beer, but you guys will never taste it, and you guys will probably never know about it.
What would be something you wouldn't want to use?
We've done, one thing for me, chili beers. They're either really good or they're
Chili
really
beers?
awful. Yep. There's a very fine line between
Like
using,
chili powder?
chili peppers.
Chili peppers.
So
So it's a hot.
entrechilies, yes, heat. So there's a really, really fine line of using just the right amount and using too much. If you go over to that too much, I want nothing to do with your
Right.
beer.
And when you're doing 220 gallons,
It's
It's a risk.
yeah, it's a risk.
It's a big risk, yeah. I had a buddy who homebrewed with me for a long time, and he's made some chili beers. He's made some really fantastic ones, and he'll also be the first one to tell you that he's also made some really terrible ones. But when they're on, they're on. When they're off, they're not good.
What is your most popular?
Right now it's Polka King, which kind of unintentionally.
Which
became
we've
our
had in
flagship.
restaurants.
Yes, we
You're
have.
selling it around Door County.
Yeah, it's the biggest selling beer we have in the state of Wisconsin right now. It's
Wow.
Little Sister's not far behind, but yeah, Polka King is kind of the beer we're known for at this point, despite the fact that we really do a lot of Belgian stuff. Our English brown porter is what's kind of carrying the company right now.
No,
Does
you,
it surprise you?
Yes, only because we don't push it that much. We
Okay.
don't put a lot of emphasis on marketing Polka King.
It's selling itself.
Yeah.
how many breweries are there in Door County?
There are 3. So there's us, there's Shipwreck, which has been around for a long time.
And then Starboard.
They're a brew pub, and yeah, Starboard in Sturgeon Bay. And then there's Anapi and Algoma, which I consider almost Door County. They're really great too. I love those guys over there.
But you guys have really hit it hard right out of the box.
Yes, no, we have a goal in mind, and we will not be able to attain this goal without.
Universal domination? Or
It's close to it, close to it. Not the whole universe, just the world.
Okay.
We're just starting with Door County.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
Okay.
we did the first.
We're
year
going
in
to try
Door
our
County.
third beer here. What are we tasting here?
We are tasting
Select the third one.
Pastoral, which
Okay.
is actually.
It looks very clear.
Yep, that's Pastoral. So that is that's our first saison. It's one of our year-round saisons. So
Wait, what's a saison?
It's-
Season, right?
Yeah, it's season
Oh, what
in
have you
French.
français?
Exactly. That's
Oh,
about
wait,
all the
wait.
French I know.
This is a very exclusive show here. We're speaking French.
Yeah, so saisons were originally brewed in France and Belgium on farms by the farmers when it was wintertime.
good one.
Thank you. Too cold to do any farming, so they brew a beer with whatever ingredients they had. Typically yeast forward, really simple malt bill, not a lot going on, not a lot of ingredients in there, just really yeast forward, simple, dry, crisp, peppery. citrusy.
Popular line.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's we sell the most out of all our saisons. That's the one we sell the most.
So I have a question about the autumn one. So by virtue of the name, is it only for autumn? So that you'll
Yep.
take it off of the menu
Correct.
come winter time, and you'll probably have a winter brew
Exactly,
then.
yeah.
Okay.
So with that seasonal saisons, they are brewed 3-month increments. So
Oh,
by
okay.
the time that 90-day period is up, we want that beer to be completely off the market. So when the next
Got
one
it.
comes on, that's the only seasonal farmhouse on the market.
I'm going to go for our next one here.
Yeah. So that is
A
that's
little cloudier.
Big Sister. Yep. So
Tell
that
us about clarity and cloudiness.
well. So
Or is it beer goggles that I'm wearing right
no,
now?
that's definitely cloudy. So we typically we do use a ton of wheat and a lot of oats in our beers, and those really provide a lot of haziness in beers.
Okay.
And the yeast strains that we use also, kind of invoke haziness. There's a lot of yeast strains that'll really drop out of suspension. If you take a Pilsner, for example, they use pretty much just Pilsner.
What
malt.
is a Pilsner?
Really dry, crisp beers, lagers. So
Like
they also-
commercially, what is a popular Pilsner?
Pilsner Urquell, which is pretty much the Pilsner in the world, originated in the Czech Republic where Pilsners are from.
Like it's Grolsch, a
Uh,
Pilsner?
Grolsch, I think, is a Pilsner. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure Grolsch is
They got a
Pilsner.
very cool bottle.
With the swing top?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I drank a lot of Grolsch in college. Yeah, so
Do you make a Pilsner then?
we don't make a Pilsner, not against it.
Like I said, you don't make a Pilsner.
No, we don't make a Pilsner. We might one day, but it's not coming up soon.
Okay. All right. So guzzle bottoms up or
Guzzle.
no, yeah. What do we say here?
Chug.
Chug.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay.
Chug works too.
All right. So we're going to be trying a couple more here. Let's talk about the building also. So you got this cool bling section.
Yeah.
So you can.
You've been open since.
We opened up Memorial Day 2014, so we've been open for about
14 months, 15 months?
something like that.
Did you expect it to hit this fast, this big?
We had always hoped that this would happen eventually, but we didn't think it was going to happen this quick. We had a great season last year, but this season actually, we've got the same staff as last year. Our numbers have grown immensely from last season, but with the experienced staff, it's gone about as smooth as you could possibly.
Are
ask
you
for.
running out of brew space?
Occasionally we do. We do brew a decent amount of beer at another brewery across state, which has a lot of room for us. Thank
Thank
goodness.
goodness,
We
yeah.
couldn't do what we do without
Right.
brewing at the other place too. But downstairs we have we're kind of pushing capacity down there.
One of the cool stories about beer is during Prohibition, and I remember it was Prohibition, like 29 to 32 or something like
something
that.
like that, yep.
It was the Volstead Act, I think it was called. As a matter of fact, that'd be a cool name for a beer.
That's a great name.
Yeah, it is, really.
I'm always open to new names.
Yeah, that'd be a cool one.
And my grandfather would go down to the local speakeasy,
Okay.
and he would get a bucket of beer.
Yeah.
And he'd bring it home in a pail.
Yep.
And
Sloshing around as he's bringing it
and he
home.
probably had a few sips along the way. You can also buy it here, but not in a bucket. It's a bottle. What's that called?
Growler.
Yeah, it's called a growler. So yeah, the bucket was kind of a primitive version of a growler. It's literally the same concept. You buy a gallon jug with a lid on it. We'll fill it up with some beer, and you can take it home. It's the freshest way to drink our beer.
And how long would that hold in the refrigerator?
Well, if you hold it in the refrigerator, we typically recommend drink it within a week or so. But depending on how well it was filled or where you got it from, sometimes they can last you a few months. But if
You really shouldn't deserve to have it if it's that long
it's very
in the
rare.
refrigerator.
It's very rare that we have people not drink it within
All right,
the
so
first 2
here,
days.
answer this question, because our son Dan, who is, I think he's a beerologist.
He's a beerologist. Yes.
Working on his doctoral
And he learned a lot in college.
dissertation.
He
Yeah,
did.
he majored in beers. He minored in French fries at Miami of Ohio.
Cool.
He says
Right.
that once a beer is brought down to temperature, it should never be served again if it were warmed and then recooled.
I'm not very scientific when it comes to this matter, but I will tell you that it's not necessarily true. We try to avoid as
Did you hear that, Dan?
Sorry, Dan. We try to avoid as many major temperature swings as
What
possible.
happens to it when it? What do you compromise? The chemistry?
A little, depending on what style.
Like breakdown or
sometimes IPAs will lose a little bit of their big hop aroma, but for the most part, as long as I've many times put a beer in the fridge, taken it out, put it back in.
Okay.
Beer's been fine.
Okay.
But for the most part, especially with really delicate IPAs that are very hop aroma forward, those I would try my best to keep in a refrigerator until you're going to drink it. But don't fear taking it out, putting it back in. A couple
So you've been
times.
brewing for how many years? Home brewing and commercially?
Professionally, commercially, I guess we're about 2.5 years. Home brewing for 8. But
All right, so a dozen years almost.
yeah.
Is there anything else to learn?
Oh gosh, yeah. I will never know everything.
Really?
And I guarantee you, I will never make a beer I am 100% satisfied
Oh,
with.
really?
Yeah.
Like an artist.
No,
like
like-
an artist.
yeah.
We haven't hit that perfect
Nope.
pitch.
I've made a lot of beers that I can drink nonstop, but I will always find something that can be a little bit
Interesting.
different, a little bit
So
better.
it is an art.
Yeah, very much so. It's very scientific and very artistic all at the same time.
So has your palate gotten better to discern the unique
Yep.
characteristics?
Yeah, no, I used to drink beer because I liked the flavor, but as I was really getting into brewing, you kind of learn the process, and you're really able to, you're able to pick out ingredients, different techniques and temperatures, and different flavors based on what's in there. So yeah, as I've gotten further along in brewing, I've been able to pick out a lot more.
Wow. You wouldn't think, of course we know beer isn't just beer.
Right, right.
Especially now.
Intellectually, we know
Yes.
that. Yeah.
But, when you're, as a matter of fact, like I said, we know people that have worked in the big breweries, and which you guys have also taken a big chunk out of their business.
Yeah.
Because with all the independent brewers, Goose Island Brewing Company in Chicago, which I think is probably 25 or 30 years old by now,
Yeah,
they really were like on the front end of this, weren't they?
yeah, very
Oh,
much
craft
so.
beers, of course.
Yeah, they were one of the first. Yeah, they were that. I believe it was class of '86. There was like 6 or 7 major breweries. There's still today that all started up in '86, and Goose Island was one of them.
Did you do your homework in terms of going to a lot of these craft breweries and
Yeah.
And was
talking
that
to
tax
brewers?
tax deductible?
Yeah, for the most part. No, totally. We keep all our receipts for sure.
Of course.
I went along to a lot of breweries. Not just to learn the process, but to see how they set up equipment.
Yep.
See how different things work in different environments. So yeah, no, definitely. Whenever I travel, if I can get to a brewery, I'm gonna find it, and I'm gonna make sure I've got time set aside.
Have you been to any of the great beer halls in Germany?
No, I have not.
That would be a tax-deductible trip.
I'd love to, yeah.
Because in Germany,
is on my list.
they have this deal, and they're starting to do it now. I know there's one in Rosemont, Illinois, called the Hofbrauhaus, and you actually have your mug in a locked locker.
Oh, so every time you go there.
It's your mug.
Wow.
So it's kind of like a Mug of the Month club.
Okay.
And you know how those big German
like
steins
a
are?
stein.
Yeah, they're very cool. So in Germany, in particular, they really take their beer.
They do that also in Germany then?
That's where they came from.
Oh, okay.
Is where they really take their beer so seriously. You know, I think the thing, and you know, Danny McMahon will be able to answer this for sure, is that we never really valued or cherished beer like they do in Europe. Is that a fair statement?
I would tell you up until about 10 years ago, yeah, that'd be
That
a
was
fair
true.
statement. And now, you know, once the new kind of craft beer renaissance started, yeah, I think people are really starting to, you know, kind of get a hold, and craft beer is kind of becoming the norm, and people are becoming more comfortable with it. But yeah, up until, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, 12 years ago when it really started to boom, I would say, yeah, it wasn't necessarily thought of that highly in the United States as it was Europe.
So when you guys hit it here, you weren't educating the world like maybe Goose Island was, where you were already coming into a very sophisticated.
Yeah. No, we.
Clientele.
Yeah, exactly. You know, there was Door County. You know, is kind of in a world of its own. It might not
It is.
necessarily be up as hard up on the craft beer world as the rest of the country.
But it's
pretty
but the
sophisticated.
tourists are
there.
sophisticated,
But yeah,
and the
we
residents.
get enough people coming from Milwaukee,
Right.
Chicago, the Twin Cities,
Sure.
who are, this is the norm for them. Tap rooms are,
Right.
you know, that's what it's like. But you know, it's a mix of people who are new to this, but then, you know, we get a ton of people who, you know, they also make trips just to go to breweries.
All right, now we're going to try another one here.
Yeah.
I'm on my 5th one, so it's really a great show. So what are we tasting here, Danny McMahon?
That is Polka King, I believe.
There it is.
Yeah.
Polka King.
Yeah, so
that's a big one. That's what you're drinking right now.
No, actually,
No.
I got something special and new.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, so it's
I got
not.
something special in you.
Is this one of the?
And you don't.
Not ready for primetime beers?
It'll be ready tomorrow.
And it would be the Falstaff?
It'll be-
No, I can't even say it. What was the
Falstaff?
Jim, what was the name of the act that prohibited beer during the Prohibition?
Oh, you just called it. You,
All right.
Falstaff.
Falstaff?
Falstaff.
Because there was a beer named Falstaff.
There was with an F.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, the Volstaff act.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, anyhow. What are we drinking here?
Yeah, that's Polka King. That's our first beer we ever came out with. Just a really sessionable English brown porter.
Licorice, or do I taste licorice? or-
You're getting a little bit of that kind of caramely
Caramel,
roastiness. Yeah, so we use a decent amount of caramel in Munich, and then
So how do you get that caramel taste?
So different malts, when they're go through the malting process, they're heated up. So different malts are heated up for different amounts of times to different temperatures.
So do you heat those malts?
No, we buy
No.
them. We buy all our malts from a maltster out of Chilton,
A
Wisconsin.
maltster?
I think that's what they call themselves.
A
A malting
maltster.
company. A maltster.
We'll go with that.
I've been called a monster, but never a maltster.
No, I think maltster's the actual
Okay,
correct
so
term.
that's a whole nother front end
Yeah, no,
science.
that's a huge process that we could never.
So if you get bad malt, you can't make good beer.
Correct. Yeah, if you
Do
have
you ever get bad malt?
if you have bad ingredients, you won't make good beer. And we've never, in our short time doing this, we get most of our stuff from Breeze and Chilton, and they are one of the best in the world at the malting process. So we haven't run into any issues on that front yet. But we're working on actually a few farmers up here to grow some malt for us, so we can kind of source as many local ingredients as possible. Malt being
really?
a big one.
So
for
then
us.
you would do the malt.
Yeah, well, no, we wouldn't do the malting. We've got a few plots up here where they're experimenting with different types of malt, and once we find out if that is malting quality grain, we're working with a company called Malt Europe, who's out of Milwaukee actually, and if
It's
it's
close to Europe.
yeah, it's close to Europe.
Yeah.
If there's a lot of Germans in Milwaukee,
There are.
if the malt, or excuse me, if the grain is of high enough quality, they will malt it for us, and then we will have exclusive rights to that grain.
No
and that
kidding.
malt.
So you can
Yep.
have like your own
Proprietary.
DNA.
Yeah,
proprietary.
Exactly. It's basically a proprietary,
Yeah.
malt bill. So.
There's so much science and chemistry.
People don't-
Do
they
we have
take
any
it for
questions from the audience, by the way? Jim O'Reilly.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
5 miles from here, up the road
Uh-huh.
from my house, there's a farmer that just put in hops.
Yeah.
And do you get in contact with people like that, like to buy the local?
Yeah, so
hops?
there's a lot of Wisconsin before Prohibition was actually the largest producer of hops in the country.
How about during Prohibition?
Yeah, no, not so much. So we've worked with a few local people to grow some hops. Getting the volumes that we need has been a little tricky, but there's definitely a good amount of people in the area or in the rest of the state that are really focusing on trying to, make Wisconsin, big on the hop process.
And is this climate good for growing hops?
Yes, because we're kind of the same, latitude?
45?
As Germany, Czech Republic, and the Pacific Northwest, which is where most of the U.S. hops come from.
Very good. Any other questions, Jim?
Well, how do you when you get those hops? How do you know that they're up to your standard?
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Yep, it's a lot of smelling.
I'm willing to do it.
Knowing. Well, first off, you gotta know what a good hop of that variety, what it smells like, how it's gonna work. So it's a lot of smelling, just observing, making sure it looks healthy, and then we will run a small batch real quick, make sure everything.
What is a small
batch?
batch?
Typically for us, 5.5 gallons, which gives us a 6 barrel, which will give us about 45 pints to serve up here. It's enough.
And what day will that be on?
Oh, it depends. Could be tomorrow. Could be yesterday.
I've been looking to do volunteer work in Door County. This might be my.
This might be it.
This might be it. Okay. All right, Claudia, you got any notes for next week?
Well, let's do a commercial here, and then we'll do the notes for next week.
It is. And Claudia?
Wait, I want to share this. Ready?
Okay, ready?
That sounds like beer.
I looked all over for this one.
Sounds like Door County beer.
All right, so some announcements. Just a reminder that you can find pretty much everything you want to know about Going Home with Tony on our website, www.goinghomewithtony.com. This includes how to connect with us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, where we post all of our updates and podcasts. And as usual, we have some fabulous shows coming up on Thursday, October 1st. That's next Thursday.
Is this the big one?
You've been excited about it.
Bigger than today.
Yeah, well, we have
we
have been announcing the Door County Brewing one for like 6
this
weeks.
show will cover the last 10,000 years
It is.
of civilization.
Right. On October 1st, we're going to be back in our Hot Water 911 Boiler Room studio welcoming our fabulous guest,
Doctor,
author, and world-renowned biological anthropologist, Dr. Helen Fisher.
Ta-da!
Dr. Fisher is a research professor in the Department of Anthropology at Rutgers University. She's written 5 books on the evolution of
She should tell us about beer.
and future of human, well, especially on the relationship of people, right?
Yes, and what happens
After they've drank too much.
and they got beer goggles
That's
on.
right.
Yeah.
So on the evolution and future of human sexuality, gender differences in the brain, the chemistry of love and human personality types, and why we do fall in love with one person rather than the other. So it's pretty fascinating. And if that's not enough,
I love Danny.
and if that's not enough, because it's the first Thursday of the month, we also have our Tech Talk segment with tech guru Carolyn Nicander Moore of The Wonder of Tech. Carolyn will share with us the latest and greatest in tech innovation, so join us on Thursday, October 1st at 5 p.m. Central Daylight Time for an enlightening show. Then on October 8th, getting closer.
Yes.
We will be broadcasting
you are.
live from the Woodwalk Gallery in Egg Harbor, Wisconsin.
Oh, that's a good place.
We're honored to be talking with Woodwalk's featured artist for October, Sky.
Sky.
Sky has created an
Not
incredible
clouds.
artistic tribute to musician Bob Dylan called Shakespeare's in the Alley, a tribute to Bob Dylan. She has stenciled the lyrics of 44 of his beautiful songs onto long gray hemp banners that will float across the gorgeous Woodwalk.
Can we smoke those?
Restored back. No, I don't
Oh,
think
it's
so.
not that kind.
I think
Okay.
Sky would not be happy.
Yeah, that would not be good.
It'll float across the gorgeous Woodwalk restored barn and gallery. We'll be talking with Sky as well as Woodwalk owners, artist Margaret Lockwood and manager Alan Walker.
Got it.
Sky's installation is Margaret and Alan's last show
I
as
know.
owners of Woodwalk.
Do you know those folks?
No,
as they
I don't.
pass.
Oh, you
It's
guys
a
got to
great
go meet them.
place.
They're cool people.
They'll be passing the baton on to new owners, Jelaine and Andy. So,
nice, cool
if
people.
you're in Door County on
There's
October
only
8th,
cool people in Door County.
of course.
Yes.
So if you're in Door County on October 8th, please join us at the Woodwalk Gallery to experience Shakespeare's in the Alley, a tribute to Bob Dylan, which will be at the Woodwalk Gallery in Egg Harbor on County Road G from October 7th through October 19th.
Okay, so Danny McMahon, soon to be master brewer. I think you're just being humble.
No, I'm sure.
No, you are. No, you are. Because I claim to be a master of everything, and
Oh, jack of all trades,
jack
master
of all.
of none.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna try another beer here. What do we taste? It's a very clear-looking beer.
I'm gonna go. That's probably a beer de Sigue or other.
I'm sorry?
Beer de Sigue. It's French for rye beer.
Oh, we're speaking all of you Français.
Yeah, exactly. So it's another.
Oui. As a matter of fact, I might have to go make oui.
There you go.
Yeah. You know, you don't really buy beer; you just rent it.
You're renting, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
always going back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another Belgian Saison wise. It's another simple recipe. We use a Pilsner malt like we do in all our Belgian beers, but then we use a ton of different rye malts to add a little bit of body and a little hint of spice on the very end. So we still use our Saison yeast like we do for most of our beers, so you get that dry, peppery, little hint of citrus note. And then with this one, you get a little bit of spice on the very end from all the rye that we use. So it's dry, but it's not. It's still full-bodied with
That is
all the
a nice
protein from the rye.
Does beer leave its remnant taste in different places of our mouth, depending on the type of beer? Because they say sometimes, like wine, it'll end up in the back of your throat.
Yeah, so there's different parts of your tongue. I'm not an expert as to which part tastes what, but different parts of your tongue will taste different flavors. So, with a really bitter IPA, you'll get, maybe on the front end, something really dry and spicy. You'll get on the back end. But yeah, it's definitely, different styles. You're gonna get in different areas.
So I have a little question just about owning a bar. Any crazy experiences we could talk about, like any naked bar patrons or things that you would say, "Damn, I really like this business."
It's you get a lot of characters. We do have some regulars. I won't name names, but we do have some regulars that are really, really fun to have come in. We had one guy come in. Again, I won't name names, but he was originally going to stay in for one, ended up staying in for 3 or 4, and then as soon as he was done, he had to go play Santa Claus. So that was a fun one for us.
Come here, little girl.
Yeah, we do always have. We've never had any real bad experiences, but yeah, there's just some great local.
So no
characters.
people streaking through the bar yet?
No one naked yet. I mean, that's not something we're against, but it just hasn't happened yet.
Well, it's still.
There's still time.
There's
You're still
plenty-
in
there's
here.
still a new business.
15 months.
All naked beer drinkers are invited New Year's Eve to the Door County Brewing Company in Bailey's Harbor, Wisconsin.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we got another one going on here. What are we tasting?
That is going to be Bare Bottom Madness. So that's our oatmeal.
Say that
ale.
again, please.
Bare Bottom Madness.
Beer. Oh, it's on that naked theme.
There we go.
Got it.
You picked the
Okay.
right beer for this
All
one.
right.
Yeah, so it's our oatmeal pale ale. Just
A little cloudy.
a little cloudy again.
What causes the cloud?
The oats. We use a ton of
Oats.
oats. Yeah, a lot of proteins in there that are gonna, kind of leave that color. So,
Oh,
yeah.
pepper,
Um,
citrus.
Yep, that would be the hops we use. So we use,
Oh, that's real citrusy.
yeah, a ton of
Wow.
Pacific
It's
Northwest
like drinking
hop
grapefruit
varieties,
juice.
No asparagus.
Yeah. No,
No
asparagus.
No asparagus.
No, yeah, some of the hops we use are definitely grapefruit forward in this beer.
Wow.
Oh, grapefruit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it tastes
So
like.
do you use the grapefruit rind?
We have before. That's actually kind of been a big trend in the last year is grapefruit in beers. So we've done a few For special events, we've used grapefruit peel. Had some really cool results with it. Yeah, it's really kind of a neat thing to add to beer. Grapefruit.
I know when you order beer, you almost always order some slices of lemon in your beer because you do like that citrus.
Well, I know
enhanced.
I think it was when I was into my sophisticated days, I would drink Grolsch because
That was cool.
what a way to impress a girl. I mean,
Right.
before that it was Heineken.
I'm not sure if I know what that is.
Heineken?
Oh, Heineken. I thought you said something else. Heineken.
Oh, okay, Heineken.
Oh, yeah, so you're kind of on a Dutch thing.
Yeah.
Grolsch and
Yeah,
Heineken.
yeah.
Well, I married a Dutch girl,
And
so
the green bottles.
I'm going with the theme that I would. Is it more of a German thing to put lemon in beer?
I think so.
Do you get many requests here or not really?
No.
Do you have lemons?
We don't have any for
That's
beer.
why it's good they don't request it.
Yeah, no. I know that was kind of a big marketing thing for Blue Moon was to put a slice of orange,
right.
which
Orange.
is great. But no, we don't.
But if you have it in the beer already,
Right, the flavor speaks
I
for
mean,
itself.
why adulterate
Right.
what Danny's done?
Right. I think when you
he
add
stayed
a-
up nights without sleeping.
Exactly.
I think when you add a lemon, it's to enhance the flavor of maybe a beer that's not quite so
Right.
fabulous as Danny's
I'm
beers
very,
are.
it's got its right place. If I want to drink a Blue Moon, I expect there to be an orange. And if I'm at a bar and I want, a huge mug of some German Hefeweizen, if it comes with a lemon, I'm not going to say no. But it's one of those things for us. We spent a lot of time making
Right.
this beer the way it
Right.
is.
Drink the
Right.
pure.
We brewed it
Yeah.
to taste this way, and if you add something else, that's fine. But you're not going to
That's your
taste
thing.
what we intended.
Right.
It's kind of like saying, I wouldn't mind buying the Mona Lisa, but can you make her smile?
Yeah, right.
exactly.
Put a grin on her face, would you?
Yeah, really. All right, so you got some events coming up. We got the Hey Hey 5K. What's that about?
Yeah, that'll be fun. This is the first year we're doing this. It's part of, I guess it's called Autumn Fest in Bailey's Harbor. We're putting on, between us and the Peninsula Pulse is hosting a 5K.
Oh, they are together.
Yeah,
Okay.
called the Hey Hey 5K, named after Freddie Kadenko, who was also the Polka King, which we brewed a beer after. So yeah, he's kind of just an old kind of Door County character.
Legend kind of guy.
He's a legend.
Yeah.
He's definitely a legend.
Yeah.
He drove a tractor everywhere he went. Kind of lived at the AC Tap. He kind of engulfed the friendliness that a lot of Door County people are known for. Just really easygoing, always approachable, and he was big into polka music. So they're doing.
You think he ran a 5K?
No, never in his life. Apparently, he never paid taxes in his life either.
Oh,
My kind of guy.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of legends about
He's
Freddie
like a
K.
hero.
He is.
A good
So
guy
where
to
does
name a beer after.
It starts here and ends here. Where's the route?
So it starts outside the front. There's kind of this big loop up on Double E, I believe. So it starts out front and ends out front. And we're actually going to have the brewery truck parked up front, and there will be some polka music coming out of the back. We'll have a live polka performer.
Cool.
At the
Okay.
5K as
And
well.
what
we
time
have-
does that start on Saturday?
It starts at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Time to start
A.M.
drinking.
8 a.m.
Yeah, yeah.
8 a.m.
And we got a question from our
Question
guest,
from the audience.
Kathy O'Reilly, wife of Jim O'Reilly.
No, she's Kathy Triner, honey.
Oh, really? Oh, excuse me. Okay, go ahead, Kathy.
One of those.
One of those. A liberated woman.
She is.
Okay, your question is? Come closer. You gotta speak into
So
the
I'm
microphone.
drinking the oatmeal pale ale, and pale ales sort of taste a little grapefruity.
Yeah, that would be the hops we use. So we use 3 different hops from the Pacific Northwest. One of them has a good amount of pine to it, but that grapefruit, we use a hop towards the end of the boil, and then we dry hop it. So when the beer is fermenting, we add hops to it, and when you add it at that point, you're getting a lot of flavor and aroma as opposed to just bitterness. So with that hop, we use a ton of it towards the end of the brew, and that's what gives it that really cool kind of grapefruit citrus note. So just specific
Good.
hop varieties.
So, how do you like it?
I like it, and I love hoppy beers.
Cool.
And I think anybody who likes, I like Sauvignon Blancs and wine,
Oh,
because I
really?
like that grapefruit.
Yes,
Yeah,
right.
definitely.
So I think people who like that.
Plus, you're
would
getting your
like-
vitamin C.
Exactly.
This is health food.
Would like hoppy beer.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh,
Awesome.
very cool. Thank you very much, Kathy, whatever your last name is. Anything else, Claudia? You want to give us the wrap up on beer?
So I think that a couple of things that people need to know. So first of all, as they have probably figured out, we're at Door County Brewing Company. It's located in Bailey's Harbor, Wisconsin, on County Road F.
But you don't serve Bailey's and cream here, do you?
Baileys and
No.
No Baileys.
Okay, go ahead.
And you can find more information about Danny and John and Ben on the website, which is Door County Brewing Co.com, and they're on Facebook as well as Twitter, so you can find out all that you want to know about them. And I would highly recommend them come to when they're coming up to Door County, and all you Door County residents, really, if you haven't tried.
We're open year round.
We are open year round.
Well, I'm a volunteer here.
He's a volunteer now.
Yeah, I'm the greeter.
Apparently,
There we go.
Apparently, I'll be leaving Tony behind.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for being
And,
with us today.
before we finish out, how can our non-resident, non-touristed listeners
Get the
buy
beer. Yeah.
your beer
Yeah, where's it
other than
available?
coming in?
Yeah, we actually sell beer all over Wisconsin, so everywhere in Wisconsin has a distributor that can buy our beer. And then we are distributed in the Twin Cities, Duluth, and then the rest of northern Minnesota. Not quite to southern Minnesota yet,
Wow.
but all over Wisconsin and most of Minnesota at this point.
Not in Chicago yet, but
Not yet.
soon.
That'll happen. If not next year, the year after. It'll happen eventually.
Okay, good.
And can you buy online?
No.
Why not?
I don't know if it's legal, but even if it was legal, we just don't have the manpower
Yeah,
to sell things
sure.
online.
That would get crazy.
Yes.
Well, I want to order 20,000 barrels.
If you will pay for 20,000 barrels, I will
They're
gladly
yours.
All
make
right, so we
20,000
just
barrels.
upped the business model. Well, thank you very much, Danny McMahon, our live studio audience.
Yeah.
Yay!
We're busy drinking beer, so they're happy.
Which we bribed most people with a free beer. And thank you very much, Claudia.
You're welcome. Thank you,
And
Tony.
we had a
And then
great
next
show.
week we'll be having Dr.
And
Helen Fisher.
Dr.
So make
Helen
sure
Fisher.
to
And
tune in.
keep drinking. It's all healthy.
It is healthy.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.